And so what was really interesting about how that, is that when the accident happened, Joe was on the phone trying to get a hold of somebody. I don't know how this happened. It can only be by God, because he didn't know my parents. He didn't really know my pastor. He didn't have anybody's contact information. All he knew is that he had to get to me. That was the first thing on his mind. When he heard about me, and that I was in this car accident, and that I was in this coma, the first thing he thought was that I just have to get there. Somehow he got a hold of my parents. I believe he got a hold of Prince's cell phone and talked to my mom on the phone. And as my mom describes it to me, he just said, "You've got to let me in. You've got to let me into the ICU." Because at the time, nobody was allowed into the ICU except the family. So I was sitting there, not even my daughters were allowed in. It was kind of sad. But Joe was he begged my mom to just call the nursing staff and put his name on the list for him to him to be able to go and see me. So when he did, he came to me, he got by my bedside, and he described me, he said my head looked like the guy from the Jack in the Box commercials, the guy with the big white head. I mean, that's how swollen I was, that's how horrible I looked. He proceeded to anoint my head with oil and pray over me. I mean, that's a friendship that just goes, it's just beyond all. You just don't have friends like that too much. The fact that he just would drop everything and try to get there so he could do what the Bible says. And the Bible says this about that. Oh, and I don't have it written down. Do you have it? James 5, chapter 14 and 15, I believe. Forgive me, I'm going to have to remember it. But James says that when there's a person sick, go and anoint their head with oil and pray over them for healing. And so forgive me that I don't have that available right away. So what I want to encourage you guys to do is to latch onto somebody. If there's somebody in your life that's a little bit older than you, maybe by 10, 15 years, I guess the age really doesn't matter. It really depends on where their walk with Christ is. Because I guarantee you, it's like what Jeff said last week, a wise man builds his house on a solid foundation. So when the storms come, that foundation, that house is not moved. That house stays there. Rather than the person who builds their house, the foolish person who builds their house in the sand, the storms come and it's washed away. Are you guys ever going to be in a situation like I am, like I was? It's possible. God doesn't say we're going to live an easy life. Jesus says that we will have hardships. How are you going to react? What's your attitude going to be like? Are you going to be bitter? Are you going to be angry? Or are you going to lean all the more into God? Are you going to lean into Him and trust that He will take care of you? That through the smoke and through the damage and through all the tragedy, is He going to bring it about for something good? All I know is that my story has touched so many people. When I was in that courtroom and I talked to Scott and I forgave him and pleaded on his behalf, some random lawyer just put his hand on my shoulder and said, "You are the most amazing person I've ever seen." Now, I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal. It's not about me. But I'm hoping that man saw Jesus through me. That is the life I want to lead. That is the life I want you guys to lead. So I'm asking you guys to take initiative. And that's sometimes going to be hard for you guys. You know me, I'm an extrovert. I'm a ham. I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. I'm kind of an outgoing individual. Not a lot of you guys are, and that's okay too. But I can't tell you how important Joe's friendship was to me and to help me grow in my faith and my walk with Jesus. So, I know that I'm here for you guys. If you guys need anything, if you guys want to talk to me about anything, we have a slew of people here that are mature in the faith, that can help you in your walk. Because my concern is that when you guys start writing that next chapter of your life, when you guys start going off to college, starting that next year in school, are you going to stay connected to Christ? Because trust me, if you don't, the world is going to take you apart bit by bit. It's just, especially those of you who are going to be going off to college, it's going to be a very difficult time for you to stay connected to Jesus. If you don't have people in your life that you can latch onto, we have many ways that, we got Facebook and other such things that we can stay connected, but it doesn't really take the place of a real person, someone that you can call and talk to help you grow in your faith. last thing I want to mention too, and this is a great book. I don't know if you guys have ever read this book. It's called What's So Amazing About Grace. You know, there's people like Philip Yancey. He's one of my favorite authors. He's kind of a mentor of mine. The guy doesn't know me from a hole in the ground, but you know, I consider him a friend. There was a great story that he wrote, or there was a great story that he described in here about a man by the name of Gordon Wilson. It was back in 1987, and there was some. For the sake of time, I'm not going to give you the context, but basically, an IRA bomb went off in a small town in Belfast amidst a group of Protestants who had gathered to honor the war dead on Veterans Day. And 11 people died, and 63 others were wounded. Gordon Wilson was one of the wounded, and he was a devout Methodist who emigrated north in the Irish Republic for work. Wilson and his 20-year-old daughter were under 5 feet of concrete and brick. Gordon's last words I hear from her daughter is this: "Daddy, I love you very much." She was taken to the hospital, and she suffered severe spinal and brain injuries and died a few hours later in the hospital. Philip Yancey goes on to write this: A newspaper later proclaimed, "No one remembers what the politicians had to say at that time. No one who heard Gordon Wilson will ever forget what he confessed, his grace towards over the miserable justifications of the bombers. Speaking from his hospital bed, Wilson said, 'I have lost my daughter, but I bear no grudge. Bitter talk is not going to bring Marie Wilson back to life. I shall pray tonight and every night that God will forgive her.'" For some reason, I read this book maybe in my second or third year in my Christian walk, and that story just stuck out to me. I never forgot this story. I even marked it down, and I always thought, could I ever forgive like that? And I have. Will you guys be able to forgive like that? Will you guys be able to grow up and get to a type of faith where you're going to be able to stand the storms that are going to knock you off your feet? Ask yourself that question. And if you don't, and it's okay if you're not. We all have our steps that we have to take. But I just want to encourage you that as you, again, start that next chapter of your life, don't detach yourself from Jesus. He puts people in your life for a reason. Don't be afraid to go and talk to them. Ask them questions. I'll be here for you guys till the day I die. I will help you in your walk. I will do whatever I can. I'm not going to pull any punches. It's a hard walk. It's not an easy walk. This isn't going to be a piece of cake. You're going to go against the grain. You're going to walk the narrow road. And I'm hoping you guys will choose to walk the narrow road instead of taking the broad road. Let's pray and then get into small groups. Heavenly Father, I just pray that the words you spoke through me touch the hearts and minds of people here. I just ask that, Lord, that you will help them learn and grow on their journey of faith, to learn more about you and your Son Jesus and what it is we are called to be, to follow you, be obedient to you, even when it's very hard and very tough. Help them to grow up in their faith, Lord, and seek out others that will help them grow up in their faith. Thank you, Jesus. In your name we pray. Amen.
No small groups.